Good afternoon, esteemed traders and investors. Today is Wednesday, January 14th. I present to your attention another market review for Forex. As always, I'm glad to be here with you today. So, our trading idea for Bitcoin has played out. For the pound, it almost worked out. And for the Australian dollar, it also almost worked out. Let me remind you that yesterday some rather interesting news on inflation was released. The data actually came out much weaker than expected, but the buck moved like this. Regarding the specific weekly levels that we have been expecting for a long time, let's discuss these and other trading ideas on the chart. Let's go. So let's start by looking at the gold chart, which really went wild during yesterday's session, effectively taking out both the sellers and the buyers. But gold has certainly been that kind of volatile instrument lately, just flying all over the place. And by the way, when it finally came to the economic news, this was probably the only specific instrument that reacted exactly as it should have to the general weakening of the dollar. We actually had a very clear bullish trend, at least at the specific moment the news was released. At the moment, the intrigue remains that the 4,561 level has not been broken. This still serves as a support zone. Right now, we're seeing some kind of hyper trading with a resistance zone above. Most likely, there will be a breakout. It would certainly be interesting to see a move exactly to those highs. But here we also have a mirror level and clusters of long liquidity, which would be interesting to take out. So, regarding the euro-dollar pair, yesterday, we saw some action on this instrument. During the news, there was a test of the short breakdown. Well, for those who set limit orders here, entering at 1.260, it's now giving 1.270, and in the morning, it was almost 1,400. But these are not all the targets that the euro-dollar will reach, because below we have the base of the weekly initiative bar. And yesterday, and previously, there was a weekly bar, let's call it that, which also hasn't been taken out yet. I think this will happen soon. The pound-dollar pair is testing it right now. It's almost another short breakdown. Yesterday, while the news was being broadcast, they witnessed a major short breakdown. Those who sold have already secured a profit of 450, and by the end of yesterday, it reached 750. But these are also not all the targets that the instrument is expected to reach. Let me remind you that the main trading idea here comes from the weekly gorgeous pin bar at the highs, which still hasn't collected all the liquidity. Practically the monthly liquidity, you could say. It's an initiative bar, an internal engulfing bar. And this specific price area at the 1.33715 level, in my opinion, will almost certainly still be taken out. And that is something you can definitely bet on. As for the Australian dollar, it demonstrated some quite active price movement. We had a very strong and profitable short-term impulse. Yesterday, after the news, that is, during the news, they took out the stops from the day before, tested the short breakdown zone, and then rushed downward. Today, during the European session, they tested the news-driven short breakdown, and ahead of us is buyer liquidity at the 0.66600 level. This level is also visible from space and from the weekly time frame. A gorgeous pin, a bar at the highs, and a platform at the level here. Let's call it 0.366, which will be knocked out in the near future.
Looking for real trading advantages? Forex offers the lowest spreads and commissions. On major currency pairs, our conditions are better. Lower spreads and only $5 commission instead of $7. That's real savings for every trader. And now, let's get back to the market review.
And the dollar. The Canadian dollar currency value, in fact, has remained flat for now under the influence of the economic news reports released yesterday. Let me remind you that there is a huge bearish idea here. We also have it. For now, we're only testing the first resistance, ahead is the second one, and a massive drop in the US dollar against the Canadian, which I expect this year, dollar-yen. Yesterday's news was received positively. Today, the dollar has entered a correction. And here we have one of the first short signals that many have been waiting for. And here it is, by the way, right here. Let me remind you that the instrument hasn't just grown anywhere. The highs of 2024 were updated, but not all of the 2024 highs were broken. Specifically, the peaks we saw in September, November, and December, for example. Looking closely at this point right here, it remains intact. However, that particular level was broken through, while the summer high was not. But there is a short signal appearing now. And take note, at the moment, an interesting technical zone is forming. If the dollar strengthens significantly right under the short signal, you can bet on a decline, at least for a potential retest. Of this level, 158.577, oil continues its hypergrowth. I said it would happen, and it is happening, and those who caught it, well done. Ahead is the main profit-taking point at the level of 62.53. Everyone is waiting for strikes. With Iran, naturally, oil is growing. It's absolutely logical. Bitcoin has successfully played out our trading day to the upside. It was a simple, clear, long trend for those taking longs. Again, to those of you who caught this move, well done and congratulations. The instrument is currently priced exactly as we had expected, holding just above the $95,000 mark. Your take profit should have been triggered.
I also want to remind you that every Forex client automatically receives loss insurance. For every $1 of compensation, only $4 of your friend's investments are required. Just submit a request, and your losses will be recovered. Let's continue with the review.
The American stock market is currently experiencing a slight downward dip. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq are still maintaining relatively elevated levels. Well, unless you still want to catch the very last train of opportunity, because the Nasdaq is just starting to slowly puff along right now. The only thing is, there's no short squeeze on these long positions yet, but historically this instrument hasn't set new extremes in the dollar. The franc did test its long position zone for the second time and once again set a new high. This indicates that a strong bullish trend is forming, one in which you most likely didn't participate from the levels that the Canadian and the franc marked out during the flat. For this instrument, the grid trading method remains of interest. But for now, let's wait for the instrument to reach the boundary. The range did not hold, and for years the grid of limit buy orders with a 500-point step, as expected, started to slide from the upper boundary of the range down to the lower wall. In this typical channel, it makes sense to work on the downside here. But for those who have been building a grid of limit sell orders over the years, you'll soon have your take profit and a lot of money.
With Forex, you can triple your profit. For every $4 of your friend's investments, you automatically get an extra $1 added to your profit, with no extra conditions.
And the New Zealand franc is trying to reverse. All of this looks like a three-wave structure of an upward move. You can participate in it, and if not, set your orders. The limit orders from last year with a grid of limit buys at a 500-point step are still in place, and the forest villain isn't falling yet. If not grid selling, place limit sell orders above yearly highs at $500 steps. OD is ranging, we want lower prices, so don't touch it. For euro to Canadian dollar, I want limit sell grids above yearly highs, step of $500.
We also have a great offer. Fund your account and get a 30% tradable bonus. Trade with additional capital and expand your opportunities with Forex.
The price of silver is currently trading at a notably high level. There are no bearish breakdowns yet, so we're not touching this instrument. Friends, Forex offers a free consultation with a personal trading consultant. Follow the link in the video description, fill out the callback form, and gain access to exclusive offers and special trading conditions. BRT Plus for risk-free trading. That's all. Trade with Forex, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for new reviews.